What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? What up, my peoples? It's been a long time, man. Um, I think the last time that I had posted, probably 2024, bro, the end of 2024. But a lot has happened since then, you know what I'm saying? I recently had, moved out of North Carolina to South Carolina. And things were a little rocky coming to this place at first. But, you know, I'm the type of dude, I don't make no excuses. I just try to look at the best in things and do what I can do and just hustle. So when I first came here, man, I had doing a little bit of dashing before I end up with this railroad job. And that went okay, man. The job was okay. People was okay. Some weirdos, some racists, I'm not gonna lie to you. But keep that in mind. I know, man, I love different race, shapes, colors, but be real with you. And as a black man in this country, it's shit still there, you know. It's still borderline racism, whether it's behind closed doors or in your face. It's more bolder in South Carolina than North Carolina. North Carolina, they act fake with you. They ain't be racist but you closed doors. People here in South Carolina, they're a little bit more bolder. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been around situations not for myself, but just people was being racist towards a coworker of mine, or almost came to a situation towards me. All right, so fast forward, I leave my the railroad job, and go to MAU. I work with BMW and work at the plant here in Greer. The commute wasn't bad. Orientation went fine. Like everything, they gave you all the bells and whistles over orientation and treat you like something. They did give you the rundown of the job and how much that it will put on your body, but they didn't give it to you too much in detail or about like breaking your body down and the wear and tear it takes over you over time. When I first started, man, I went through hell. I went through hell my whole about 5 months there at that job. Today was my last day, but it's just how the process of you coming in and then what area they decide to put you in and the jobs there. When I tell you, I've been working since I was 14, bro. I've been working for a while to have experience. I know I might look young, but I've been in the workforce for a while. And that is by far the most hardest and demanding job on your body. And it became like a mind thing because with BMW, it's not just, hey, come in and do your work. It's you have this certain thing called defects and you working on actual clients' cars, which I respect and which I want to do good. I want to make sure everybody has, whoever car I'm working on, I'm getting trained for. Like, I'm taking the job seriously. I want to learn it. Dealing with the torquing, different kind of machinery, heavy machinery and the tools and equipment there. Just learning the jobs itself. It was like all a ploy for failure. And basically, line to put you on was one of the fastest, if not the fastest pacing line. You have 1:08 to get whatever you need to get done on each job, almost each job on that line, versus other lines where you have 3 minutes. And yeah, you have more downtime in NOC, but it's all in head count and all this other stuff that they want to ask to stop you from switching or getting over there. Versus if you suck in your job, they not gonna want to put you nowhere else. Even if you bad in the job coming in, if you learn it and you still bad and you getting defects, whether it's because the job is hard or the process within the job is a lot. And sometimes the machinery, the tools don't work properly. Or it could be a human error where somebody from a past job that gets to your job and you go down to torque something and it messes up and it's not on you. But they blaming on you. They consistently blaming on you and find things to do that for. and find different kind of defects, and especially within, it's a job each quarter. You know, you got 4 quarters within the shift. So first quarter, you on that job for 2.5 hours, learning that job. Then you go to another one that you got to train on all these before you sign off on them. Then you run them yourself. Uh, but it's just my experience here. The people in South Carolina, and it's crazy because a lot of the people, and it wasn't different. It was my own people, you know, that left a bad taste in my mouth, and just like, what is society coming into? And versus my headset, my mind space, how the way I carry myself. I ain't no schmuck. I'm not a lazy person. I'm not a pushover either. I'm a sweet person. I always smile, but from outside looking, you know, I might look like a certain person to certain people, you know. But I'm always judged. They always judge a book by a cover, you know. And you know, they tell you not to, but starting off, I was told not to teach, you know. But not to judge a book by its cover, but it's so heavy within that workplace, and it's so toxic in there, and the people, the energy, the hating, the I wouldn't recommend it for nobody. That's why I posted this video for it. I know they pay good or pay this and that. It's not, first of all, the taxes gonna take a lot of that check here. Like, the taxes set up crazy. You got to pay 150 for SS, Social Security. Then you got your Medicare. You got your other taxes. If you young, they taxing you crazier, you know. So man, like, it just, and then they kept sending me, like, whenever I mess up, I never really talk. I talked to the manager once. They call them green shirts. Like, the green shirts usually section managers or your managers you got to report to. But usually you rather report to the rep if your manager keeps saying that, hey, reporting you to basically your rep. Hey, he has a lot of defects. Can you talk to him? Try to straighten it up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Versus young white dude, cool man, good dude. He came in completely different route, got easier jobs. Even the other white guy, versus and versus another black dude. He ended up quitting before I left, but he already was getting the rundown of the job. He already was noticing things versus how the management is, especially it's a very heavily micromanaged job, not within your manager micromanage you, because they barely there. They in meetings and stuff all day. It's all kind of crazy stuff. But you really get to talk. You talk to the gray shirts and your proxies on your line that helps you more than you do a manager. You might talk to him once a week, maybe. And then with the proxies and the gray shirts and the people that's under the green shirt, the section leaders, they're like a posse. They're clicked up. It's a whole bunch of messy stuff, man, but it just, and then versus what the young guy and the manager told him, versus he just sent me right to the rep. Go, you know, versus he told him, hey, if you keep on getting too many defects, I'm gonna have to send you to the, I never got anything like that, any warning, any, you know, like, it just, and then that was the first job, like, I was thinking about locking in for the rest of life, you know, career. I'm getting tired of, you know, being in between jobs or hopping on to the next job. I wanted, you know, a job that's going to do it for me. And I thought that was the job. Apparently not. Like, I don't know if you, like, with my fingers, this finger gets stuck a lot. I might have to definitely go get that checked out. But, like, I don't know if it's carpal tunnel, but fingers was fine, man. I mean, there's the motor skills in this one's way slower than my other hands right now. I don't know if it's being double jointed or just the work that they put on you. It's crazy. It's tough. Not within a walk. It just, And then the walking facilities everywhere. It's a big plant. It's 11,000 people there. You walk. In orientation, we was walking miles a day. But once we got to the line, you still walk a good amount, especially doing the job itself, because you going back and forth, and you got a minute time to get what you need done between your jobs. So that is very physically demanding, and it's mentally demanding because you got to push yourself past limits that sometimes you don't know you have. Shoot, just. And then when it comes down to they're sticklers about punctuality. If you're over a minute late, you can get written up if you have a bad manager or supervisor. But luckily, I wasn't ever late. I was only late once due to heavy weather and bad traffic. But I'm always on time. And, but I'm thinking, hey man, as long as I work hard and I'm here giving my dedication, I'll be okay. Yeah, that was a lie. And I'm keep getting told, hey, don't worry about defects. Just worry about getting processed, this, that, this, which I'm at first, and then I get sent to the rep on my warning, and then I come back, man, I'm real upset. I'm livid. And I'm asking the rep, I'm asking the manager, hey, can I move? This line is not for me. Before I even got to this point, I wanted to switch lines or, just get a less demanding job just to learn and sign off on so I can really get the role of the job. Have BMW have their setup, you got production, you got logistics. If you in production, you got to stay in production for at least a year or before you can switch over. Even if you in a job that's hard, that's tough, rigorous, you have to stay there. Don't know why. That's just how it is. But I heard stories people get moved or and then it got so when I got on my final for too many defects, and by the way, they want you to have 4 a week. That means you have 1 a day to get a defect. That's if you miss a grommet, we're working on a lot of tools. So if you get a red light on one tool, use your green light. It'll pop up on the tool if it's a green. But if you get a red, that counts as a defect if they don't fix it. And sometimes you can fix it, and on the machine it'll still pop up as a defect on the machine on a lot of those jobs. So they just give you a defect even though it's already fixed, but it comes back on you as a defect. So what I was trying to understand is I worked hard, man. I'm like, okay, it's on me, man. Damn, I'm just, okay, I got to stop getting too many defects. I suck. Just stressing myself. And I lost a drastic amount of weight, coming into this job. Just, not trying to eat too much not trying to eat too much to get tired and go back to work when I'm off a break. Things like that, man. And just not eating too much after work so I can wake up in time. Just had to sacrifice my body a lot and my mind too, and just for it to get played with basically and treated like that. And then basically I ain't gonna say crying out for help, but I was asking for help in many ways to multiple managers, to multiple people, even the rep. He couldn't do nothing for me. Because of some guidelines and how the way things go. But that's all BS, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. And from what I learned, and as a man first, for anything, bro, as a father, like, it became I didn't like the job. I didn't like how it was making me the person it was making me become. The individual was making me become, especially outside of work, and being more stressed, irritable, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm hard on myself. And when I'm not doing something and the results are not showing and the progress is not showing, I kind of retweak myself, kind of hermit crab up. It's trying to come in at a different way to help myself and to see results. But when you from what I learned, when you're already into something that you know is not for you, and basically they're not willing to help either, and they're not willing to do anything else for you but to stick with the job that they first put you in after orientation, after you was a noob, and there's been people there for 5 years, 4 years, 10 plus years, like that you coming in with, and then they're looking at you like, who's this little guy? Like, I've been doing this job. Yeah, the job is very easy to you after you've been doing it for, I say, anywhere over 5 months, because literally